How's it going, everybody? It's President's Day, so the streets are kind of dead, LOL. My name is Lupe Alcides. I am a Chicano and a Catholic from the west side of San Antonio, Texas. This is my own personal biased opinion, and it is cold. It's in the 30s, upper 30s at least, but it's in the 30s. Last video, I talked about love, right? It's the greatest commandment. Love God. Love God above all else. The point is to put God first. That's the point of Lent, right? We're supposed to be putting God first. The reason we make sacrifices, the reason we fast, the reason we give up stuff for Lent, it's supposed to be stuff that is keeping us from God. Some people give up stuff that keeps them from God, like me, social media. I gave up social media because I'm spending a lot of time on social media. I know some of y'all are thinking he's lying, dog, because he's still making videos. I post them on YouTube. To me, YouTube isn't social media because I just post the videos and that's it. You know, I'm not interacting with anybody. If I watch videos on YouTube, it's usually just music. Especially the meditation type music, you know, it's just, I like to have like music in the background when I'm reading. I've been reading a lot, you guys. Been reading a lot of books. I do my daily plans. I actually have 2 plans now. I didn't know they had Chosen. The Chosen has a plan on the Bible app. And yes, if you join the Bible app, you're more than welcome to send me a friend request, because I know you're doing it for the right reasons, right? Because you want to read the Bible. But almost every thing that I read talks about love and the love God has for us, right? And what's the second greatest commandment? Love your neighbor. When they asked Jesus, who's your neighbor? He basically said, all people are your neighbor, right? Not just people that look like you, not just people that talk like you, not just people who believe the same thing as you. Everybody's your neighbor. And like I was saying in the last video, how you treat others, right? And I know it seems like I'm going off on a tangent, but giving up stuff for Lent that keeps us from God. Some people give up stuff like social media. Some people give up food, but it's supposed to be stuff that keeps you from God, because the point of Lent is to draw nearer to God and to strengthen your relationship with God. Love. Ask God for mercy. Ask God to strengthen your love for your neighbor. One of the things that I was reading, it talks about how if you based everything that you do, everything that you believe in, everything that you are in love, all the commandments are so easy. Why? Because if you love your neighbor, you're not going to do any of the 10 commandments. You're not going to steal. You're not going to murder. You're not going to cheat. You're not going to lie. You're not going to covet your neighbor's goods. You're not going to bear false witness. Why? Because you love your neighbor. You're going to put... Somebody was talking about, well, a lot of people talk about how if you're successful, right, people can't be happy for you. They're only happy for you if you're less successful than they are. When you're more successful than them, then they hate on you. Why? Because it's not out of love. It's out of greed. It's out of envy. It's out of ego, right? If we love our neighbors with a true, sincere heart, we're happy for them, no matter what they do, no matter what they say, no matter what. As long as it's a good thing. I don't mean like doing bad stuff, you know. Oh, look at here, this dude's like all doing bad stuff. Yes, love him anyway. Well, yeah, you're supposed to love them anyway, but you know, how do I say that without contradicting myself? Like, you still want to love your enemies, right? Because Jesus said love your enemies, but you want to love people regardless. I guess it's a good way to say it, right? You want to, the people that are doing bad, yes, you want to pray for them and you want to love them because Jesus said love your enemies, but you also want to pray for them to change, to be good again, right? Because there's no really such a thing as a bad person. They just make bad choices and they choose to continue to do bad. deep down inside, everybody is good. Everybody is good. And you have to love them. And you love them so much that they will change. Look at St. Augustine. That's why I chose St. Augustine, because he was so bad and his mom prayed and prayed and prayed. And he finally said, fine, I'll give myself to God. But like the people that are your friends and your neighbors and your co-workers and stuff, why do we have to be so ugly? And oh, look, he got a promotion, you think you're better than us now, blah blah blah. It's like, why can't we just be happy for each other? Why can't we lift each other up? There's so much greed and there's so much envy and there's so much ego in this world that we can't just be happy for each other. We can't just build each other up. We can't just be there for each other. Everybody is all about themselves and their ego and trying to be better than everybody else. What's that one phrase or quote that I really, really love? It's like, don't try to be better than anybody else. Just try to be better than the person you were yesterday. Love, you guys. Love. Love, love. Base everything you do out of love. If you call yourself a Christian, you have to base everything you do out of love, because Christ was love. God is love. No matter how many times they failed and they screwed up in the Old Testament, he still kept giving them chance after chance after chance. Why? Because he loved them. Why did Jesus come down and die for our sins even though we did not deserve it? Because he loves us. One of the most beautiful things that I've read is that it says, even if nobody believes in Jesus except you, he still would have died on the cross for you. He still would have died on the cross for you. But he didn't. He died for everybody. Every single body. Especially the sinners. No matter what you do, no matter how bad you think you are, you could still come back to God. During this Lent season, take a deep, hard, sincere look within your heart and just ask yourself, am I sorry for my sins? Just ask God to forgive you. Come back to God. If somebody tries to convince you that no, he won't forgive somebody like you, they're a bad person. I know I just said there's no bad people, but not bad as in evil, but they're not the kind of people that you want to associate with, because a true Christian would tell you, yes, he'll forgive you no matter what you did, no matter how bad you've done things in the past. God will always forgive you. Look at the prodigal son. That's the point of the prodigal son. He will forgive you. Come back to God because he loves you. He loves you and he wants to have a relationship with you. That's the whole point of the one sheep. If one sheep is lost, the shepherd will leave everything behind to go look for that one sheep and find him and bring him back to the flock. And there's going to be such a great party in heaven when one sinner comes back to God over the 99 just. The 99 are already doing what they're supposed to be doing. It's the one sinner who repents and comes back to God that makes the angels sing and it makes God happy. So don't let people guilt you into thinking that you cannot change. You cannot ask for forgiveness. You can always come back to God. And those of you who are just doing bad things, whether you're a Catholic or not, use this season of Lent before Easter, before we celebrate the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Use this as a time to look within your heart and ask yourself, am I truly being loved? Because we're supposed to be like Jesus. We're supposed to be saint-like. We're supposed to be loved. One of the most beautiful things that I heard over the weekend was the Superior General said, live the Gospels. There's certain areas in the world where you cannot even preach Jesus to anybody or you'll go to jail. He says, you know how you bring people to Jesus? The way you live your life. You live your life in such an awesome example that it makes people want to be Christians, want to come to God. That's one of the reasons that I was so attracted to the Catholic Church, because you see these beautiful people being so awesome and being so nice and being so kind to each other. I was in a room full of Christian Catholics over the weekend. I went to a place where we went to a lecture on Saturday. All these Catholics of different colors, right? And you would think that the different colors would separate us. No, everybody was so equal in that room. Everybody was so full of love and the love for Jesus and the love for God that you couldn't even tell that anybody was different. Because we're not. We're all the same. We're all the same. We are all children of God. And there was so much love in that room. I just felt so blessed to be there. Yesterday, I was at the San Fernando. We were doing our rite of elects, right? We're presenting people that want to continue on becoming, through the process of becoming Catholic, to the bishop. We present them to the bishop, and the Bishop Gary was so cool. Dude, that dude is so nice. He is so nice. He was so nice to everybody. And I was surrounded by all these Catholics, and I was like, it's so comforting and so reassuring knowing that there's so many Catholics still practicing their faith, and there's people wanting to become Catholic, especially here in San Antonio. And just the same way, there's all these Catholics from all over the city coming to one place, united in the name of love, wanting to be representatives of love. We're supposed to emulate Jesus. We're supposed to be like Jesus. What was Jesus? He was love. So every single day, not just during Lent. Don't be Catholics just during Lent. Be Catholics every single day of your life. Be proud of being a Christian and show not just your Christianity by the way you live your life, but show your love for the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit in the way you live your life.